Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today, coming at you with my pure Trickstars deck. And this deck actually has a lot going for it. You can play a lot of hand traps. You can play some really powerful traps in it. This is just, yeah, I think a very decent deck. And it's pretty cheap as well. Reincarnation got a reprint, so it's super cheap. Yeah, there's just really not very many expensive cards in the deck. Extra deck really doesn't matter too much, so that's another plus for it. So yeah, let's get right into it. In case you guys are not already, make sure you subscribe. I do have Machina deck coming up, Pure Wind Witch deck, a really cool like Gradius Vic Viper deck coming up. So yeah, stay tuned for all those, and then we should be having a ban list. Should be this week, I'm hoping. And I might even, the next video, do a little like ban list discussion if you guys are interested in that. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, let's get right into this deck profile. Starting off with the best Trickstar monster, of course, is Triple Candina. This card searches out when it's normal summoned. Add any Trickstar card from your deck to your hand. And then each time your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you inflict 200 damage to them. Kind of cool. 1800 attack, not too bad. Then we're also playing, since this is the pure version, 3 Lycoris. Now you can get potentially, if you open with multiple ones of her in your hand, you can special summon her out by just revealing this card in your hand, target a Trickstar monster you control, and special summon this card, and then return that card to the hand. And then each time a card is added to your opponent's hand, you inflict 200 damage for them. So with the trap, you can do quite a bit of damage with Lycoris. And then a really good one, but one that you don't necessarily, need to see as much as these guys, is Korobane. So I play 2. She's also level 5, but you can get her out pretty easily because if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Trickstar monsters, you can just special summon this from your hand. And then during the damage step, when your Trickstar monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and that monster gains attack equal to its original attack until the end of the turn. And she also has 2000 attack, which is not too bad at all. And then the last Trickstar monster we're playing is just the one Lilybell. You only want to add it to your hand. You don't ever want to open with it, because if this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can just special summon it for free. This card can attack directly, and it's 800 attack, 2000 defense, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target a Trickstar monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So that's really cool, for being able to, get back a Candina to then normal summon, or a Korobane, whatever you need. Kind of a cool effect for later in the game. And then the rest of the monsters that we're playing, or most of the monsters that we're playing, are hand traps. That's a real plus side to this deck, is you can load up on the hand traps because the engine, it doesn't really rely on having a bunch of your monsters on board. So yeah, hand traps are really nice, and the best one with Trickstars, of course, is Droll and Lockbird, because with the trap, Reincarnation, you can just get rid of your opponent's entire hand, banish it. So that's kind of crazy, and then they won't be able to add anything to their hands. So yeah, Droll and Lockbird, and it's also just extremely good, this format. It's always good, to be honest. But yeah, 3 Droll and Lockbird, 3 Ash Blossom, the most universal hand trap out there. Skullmeister, it's not always good, but right now in the current format, with everything going off in the graveyard, all these effects going off in the graveyard, you can just shut them off with not shut them off, but negate one of them with Skullmeister, which is really nice. And then I'm even throwing in 2 Lancia. It's another one. Again, decks tend to like to get the cards in the graveyard and then banish them, use resources and all that. And also, you will see we play Artifact Scythe and Moral Attack. So we're playing, obviously, an Artifact engine. With also the Sanctum, which is just, I mentioned it in my last kind of discussion video, how it's just an amazing engine, and a deck like this, where you also have basically a free level 5 in Corobane. It just opens up a lot of possibilities, and we'll get to that more in the extra deck, but these cards alone are extremely good. And then the last card is Pankratops. Nothing wrong with getting just a free monster on board. That's also a disruption. So that is all the monsters we're playing. I love this lineup. I think it just really adds a lot of power to this deck. And then for the spells, just one light stage. I wish it would come back to 3, but I really don't think it should, because this card is not once per turn, at least the adding to your hand. When it's activated, you can add a Trickstar monster from your deck to your hand. So again, that's not once per turn, so it's kind of broken. Just like, Spiral Resort, that card should probably never be at 3, at least anytime soon. But yeah, this card, and then once per turn, you can target a set card in your opponent's spell and trap zone. While this card is in the field zone, that set card cannot be activated, so it kind of just freezes it. Really cool. And then play a Terraforming to search it out. That should be pretty obvious. Instant Fusion. As I said, the extra deck really is not that important, so we're actually even taking up 2 spots for Instant Fusion, just because it's that good in this deck. Scapegoat, another card that uses up space in the extra deck, but again, we have that ability with this build, and Scapegoat, it kind of just is free, just free tokens to either stall or go into some really cool link plays. And the last spell is Mind Control, just a simple, you get a free monster, get rid of a problematic monster on your opponent's board, and that's it for the spells. Very small spell lineup. And then for the traps, playing 3 Trickstar Reincarnation. This is, of course, the rare, so not as pretty as the secret rare, but an amazing card. So you banish your opponent's entire hand, and if you do, they draw the same number of cards, and then you can banish this from your graveyard and target a Trickstar monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So all around, an amazing card. And then again, mentioned it, but you got to play 3 Artifact Sanctum. This card is, crazy if it gets destroyed, because you can just destroy, just target one card in the field and destroy it. And if it doesn't get destroyed, then you're special summoning an artifact monster and either destroying something or shutting off your opponent's extra deck. It's a crazy card. And then we're also playing 3 Dogmatica Punishment. There's many reasons for this. For one, it's an amazing card. Also, I feel it's probably the best card to play along with the Artifact Engine, because you're bound to draw, one of your artifacts, and then you have to usually set it. I mean, obviously Lancia, you can activate from your hand, but then if you draw Scythe or Mortal Attack, they're probably, unless your opponent, destroys them somehow, these are just going to be set. Whereas having Dogmatica Punishment, you're able to send, of course, your Elder Entity, and then you could then target, if you want to, either an opponent's card and destroy it, or one of your set artifacts and get their effects off. So yeah, this card is really, really good for many different ways. And then lastly, playing 3 Trap Trick. Again, it's really nice to see, I mean, obviously one of each of these is ideal, but any 2 of these is usually pretty dang good as far as just, shutting down your opponent or just having the deck do what you need it to. So that's our trap lineup. That's actually the main deck. And for the extra deck, playing 1 Holly Angel. Each time a Trickstar monster is normal or special summoned to a zone that this card points to, you'll inflict 200 damage. And then Trickstar monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then if your opponent takes damage by a Trickstar monster's effect, this card gains attack equal to the damage they took. So usually it's going to be, 200. But yeah, that's kind of a cool, decent card. It's your link 2. Our link 3 is Delphindium. It's okay. This is usually pretty much just the way for you to get to Belladonna. She's your Link 4. While this card is Link Summon, or while this Link Summon card points to no monsters, it is unaffected by other cards' activated effects. And if this card points to no monsters, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Trickstar monster in your graveyard with a different name. So usually just to link up into her, you're going to have, we'll say like 5 different monsters with different names. Usually it's 5 to 6, somewhere around there. So you're gaining, 1,000 to 1,200, which she's already 2,800, so she'd be at, 4,000 or 3,800. So you can get her up pretty high. And then just being unaffected by other cards' activated effects is kind of crazy too. So that's kind of the Trickstar package. It's not really necessary. You can always play other stuff, but they're kind of cool. And then because we're playing Scapegoat, I'm going with 2 Link Karibo, 1 Secure Gardena, and then a 1 Link Spider. That's just ways of getting, using all of your tokens for something. And then you can go up into an Ngirsu if you so want to, because he requires a Link monster, and this just gets rid of pretty much anything. It doesn't target, doesn't destroy. You just send a card from from each player's field to the graveyard. So again, just gets rid of any problematic monster that can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, anything like that. And also a really good one to do with Scapegoat is to go up into Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. Kind of crazy. For free, basically, if you can get your Scapegoat off. And then our rank 5s, since we have Korobane, plus the Artifact engine, Pleiades is really nice. And same with Artifact Durandal. This, you kind of have the same effect with Reincarnation, where if you open Droll and Lockbird and then you can make a Durandal, you can then just get rid of your opponent's, you'll shuffle your opponent's entire hand into the deck, and then they won't be able to draw any, so their deck or their hand will be just empty. Whereas Reincarnation will banish the cards. This shuffles them into the deck. They're both good. And then Pleiades is just kind of crazy. During either player's turn, you just detach 1, target a card on the field, and return it to the hand. So they're both kind of really easy to get into. And then our instant fusion targets, got 1,000 Eyes Restrict. Super easy, just, doesn't destroy, just targets a monster and you equip it to him. And then a Panzer Dragon. He is a light, so you can easily, and he's a level 5, so instant fusion him, and you have a Korobane or an artifact monster, and you can make either one of these, just super easy for free. And then the other reason I'm playing 2 Link Karibo also is because of 1,000 Eyes Restrict is a level 1, so link up into that to get rid of the monster that's equipped to it. And then of course our Dogmatica punishment targets are Elder Entity. That is the extra deck as well, and that is the entire deck profile of a just really fun. You can kind of make this as budget or as expensive as you want. You could play some crazy draw cards. You can play a lot. I don't play any draw cards, but I feel it's pretty good with the hand traps and the trap lineup. I think it's good enough to compete still. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're messing around with Trickstars. I always like to hear you guys' ideas, and we'll catch you on the next one.